Hey friends, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Welcome or welcome back to Budgeting Over 40. I'm Melissa and it is the end of another month, you guys. So we need to do a debt update. So if you're interested in seeing how our monies played out, how we did with our debts in the month of July, please stay tuned. All right, friends, thank you so much for being here. In this video, I am going to close out my debts for the end of July 2025, and I'm doing it a little bit different this time. I'm not going to do the whole surprise feature. As you could see, I do have the starting numbers of the debt, and I have everything else that's empty. So the minimum payment, extra payment, purchases, and interest, that's empty. And I have the balance being what it is to start because nothing else is entered in here. So once I start entering the numbers, it's going to calculate and change the new balance, which is the ending balance for July 2025. So let's start out. Remember, if this is not your first time here, we only have 7 debts that we're working on. We have a couple credit cards, one personal loan, an auto loan, and a student loan that we're paying for. Well, I should say 3 credit cards. So to start out the month of July, we had $86,389.28, and it varies. So let's start out with the Discover card. This is the card that I'm working on paying off. I need to get rid of this balance before January 17th of 2026. I do have a promotion of 0% interest right now, and it's going up until January. So I am trying my best and I'm working hard at it to pay off this balance to not pay any interest on this card because I am managing not to pay any interest on credit cards as of right now. So the balance for Discover started out at $4,495 even. The minimum payment that I'm making on this debt, so the minimum payment is not what I'm going to show you here. It is less. I think it was like $156 in the month of July, but I'm considering my minimum payment to be $645 because that's the amount that I need to throw at it to be able to pay it off in full by January. So $645 the minimum. I made a $5 extra payment. There was no purchases. There is no interest. So Discover ended the month of July at $3,845. Now look how nicely this is coming down. I'm hoping to get this done, out of the way, and over with. If I can do it before January, that would be lovely. But as of right now, the timeline for me to pay the $645, I will be able to get rid of it before January 17th. Now, next up is the personal loan. This is only one personal loan that I do have. It started out at $33,709.07. The minimum payment for this is $1,151.04. That is what I paid. There was no extra payment. I'm not making any purchases or re-upping the loan. The interest that I did lose on this one, it was a little bit much, but it is what it is. I do have regular monthly scheduled payments that's coming out every 30 days or 31 days, depending how many days are in the month. So $340.51 was the amount of interest that I lost in July and closed out the month at $32,898.54. Next loan is my 401k loan. I didn't mention I do have a 401k loan. So that one started out at $16,984. The minimum payment for this one is $408. It comes out of my paycheck every 2 weeks, bi-weekly, because that is how I get paid. There was no extra payment. There was no purchases. The interest that was lost on this one was $72.03. And I am ending the month $16,648.03. Next debt is my auto loan. I only have one. Started out at $27,594.95. The minimum payment for this loan is $939.23. There was no extra payment. There was no purchases. The interest that was lost on this one was $181.88. Now, this is a little bit more than I paid for the last couple of payments that I've made because I did go ahead and set up biweekly payments automatic, but I did have to cancel that because August is a three paycheck month, and how it was lining up, there was going to be three payments that was going to be taken out in August. And I don't want any extra payment to go to this debt because any extra money that I do have, I do want it to go onto the Discover card. So I had to cancel the automatic payments. We'll figure it out. I'm ending the month $26,838.60. Now, the next debt that's up is my student loan. This one started out at $976.26. The minimum payment that is due for this loan is only $40. There was no extra payment, there was no purchases. The interest that was lost, you guys. So I have been monitoring this one. Remember, I was telling you guys that it was $4.04 for the longest time, month over month, but somehow this one went down. I paid $3.90 in interest, so we closed out at $940.16. Next debt that's up is my Apple Card. We started out at $975. The minimum payment for this one is only $25. There is no extra payment. There is no purchases that was not paid for. No interest because I managed to pay the statement balance before the due date or before the statement closed. So I closed out the month of August at $950. The last debt is Mattress Firm. This one also has no interest. I started out the month at $1,655. The minimum payment for this one is $67. There is no extra payment, there is no purchases, there is no interest, and I closed out the month of July $1,588 even. So that's lovely. So $86,389.28 to start out the month of July. Minimum payments that were made in total was $3,275.27. There was only one extra $5 payment that I was able to throw towards the debt. The interest, you guys, $598.32. And we're closing out the month of July, $83,707.33. You guys, 83,000. You know where we're coming from? Let me show you. So when I started out on this debt journey, this was October 10th of 2023, my balances total was $123,217.48. Yes, that's where we're coming from. Last month's total, $86,389.28. This month's total, $83,707.33. Total that was paid towards the principal, this is different from the total minimum payments, was $2,681.95, which is 3.1% or 3.10% of the amount of debt paid. So, total overall debt reduction since we've started on this journey back in 2023, we're now up to $39,510.15, which is overall percent paid 32.07%. So that is craziness, you guys. I can't believe now we are over 30%, and that is great. Now, the section over here to the right is where I sum up everything. I kind of do them by categories. So, credit cards, we started out at $7,125. We reduced it by $742, which means we ended the month at $6,383. The personal loan, I only have one, so I told you the starting and the ending balance, and we reduced it by $810.53. Same for the auto loan, it's only one. It was reduced by $757.35. For 1K loan, same thing, only one. $335.97 was the amount that it was reduced by. And the student loan, we reduced that one student loan that we have, $36.10. So here we go again. $2,681.95 was the amount that we reduced the debt by. So I do also tell you guys, we do track the interest. So I did tell you what the interest amount that was lost to all of these loans and credit cards and all the debts. But I'm going to go down and I'm going to show you the comparison to 2024. because ultimately I want to be able to pay less interest than I paid in 2024. A goal of mine for 2025, and if you have not seen my financial goals for 2025, I also did a video to revise them. I did tell you guys I am trying to pay less than $10,000 in interest overall for the year 2025. So in 2024, we paid a total of $14,751.47 in interest. Yes, that's the amount of interest we lost to the debt in 2024, you guys. And I can't do that again. And I am not going to do that again. In July of 2024, I paid out $1,279.81 in interest. And in 2025, you guys, $598.32. Now let's do a little bit of math. Let's see how much difference. $681.49 is the difference between 2024 and 2025's interest that was lost in the month of July. Now, as you could see, for 2025 so far, we've only lost $5,734.33 in interest compared to 2024. 2024, we were at $9,244.33 at this point. And look at that, 33 cents, 33 cents. That's kind of crazy. But we are doing well. We are more than halfway through the year. And you can see that I am just a little bit over $5,000. So I think we could keep the interest under $10,000 for 2025. I'm hoping to achieve that goal. I'm working real hard at it. So, you guys, these are the numbers for the end of July 2025. We didn't do bad in July. I can count this as a win because we did reduce the debts by over $2,600. Now, what I also want to do is jump over to the debt payoff planner, and I'm going to show you what it looks like in terms of the debt free date that is set. So let's take a look. All right, so here on the debt payoff planner, you can see that the debt free date is December 25 of 2027, which is 2 years and 4 months from today's date. But let's go in. I do have some additional things that I need to track, and I want to make sure that we are up to date on this and see if anything changes as far as the debt payoff date. So you can see here it's saying that Discover is past due. I was holding out. I didn't want to finalize this because I didn't know if I was going to be able to make any more extra payments. So we're going to go in. You can see that the balance is $3,845. That is what we closed out the month with. So I'm going to hit save. I'm going to hit finalize, and we're all good. Now let's move down to the next one, which is my 401k loan. All right, so here I need to change the interest amount that was lost. It wasn't $69.80. It was actually $72.03. So that's the only change that I need to make. When I update it, it's showing me the balance as of the end of July. We're going to mark it complete. And that one is all set as well. So now we are on August because August is the first payment that's up is my student loan payment. So let's jump over into or jump back to the home tab and see how we're doing. The debt date hasn't changed, but you can see that our total has updated as well to $83,707.33. That is the amount that I had. So 2 years and 4 months, not bad, you guys. I am not complaining. We are going to see if we can knock this out before 2 years. And, in 2 years would be great, but we're just taking it a step at a time. A little progress each day adds up to big results. Yes, it does. This could not show a better daily inspiration. We're taking small steps towards our goal, little by little, month by month. We're just taking our time and we're going to knock these debts out. So we started with $86,000 in debt for the month of July, and we're closing out at $83,000. So you guys, this is the debt update for the end of July. Thank you so much for taking the time out to hang out with me. Let me know how you did with your debts, if you have any, in the month of July. If you don't have debt and you're just paying your bills and savings, I would love to know about that as well. And come back and see me next time. So, you guys, my name is Melissa, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye now.